Hey Procreate artists! Today I'm exposing the biggest, most heartbreaking mistake that many beginners make without realizing it.
Big mistake. Big. Huge.
Have you ever worked on a piece and struggled with the edges of your art looking crunchy or pixelated, or maybe everything looked great until you decided to print it? What is this horrible, terrible digital demon that we will conquer today? It's resolution. In this video, we're exploring canvas setup, canvas crop and resize, and canvas resampling. Before you even open a program to create something, first, are you even using the right type of program? This is a big one. Procreate is a raster graphics program. You can't make vector graphics in it, and you can't export SVGs. Boom, there, I said it. Knowing this before you try to do that has already saved you some serious frustration. If you don't know the difference between raster and vector, I have another video on that. So if you are just looking to draw and paint and make beautiful, cool, interesting art, my next question to you is, what are the plans for its ultimate delivery? Are you designing a web meme or a social media graphic? Things you are making for internet use can easily be 72 dpi, that's dots per inch, but anything for print needs to be at least 300 dpi. So let's dive into the controls that we have in Procreate to manage our canvas. To set up a brand new project, let's pay attention to the settings and understand them. Instead of choosing something preset that we don't really understand, let's go in and click the plus up here for a brand new custom untitled canvas. For this video, we're really just focusing on dimensions and DPI. That's your resolution. You can work in measurements of either pixels or change that to be inches, centimeters, or millimeters. Notice this is saying too large on all of those. Well, if I was going to use pixels, 3000 pixels isn't very large, 3000 by 3000. In fact, if I work at 300 dpi, which is a good print resolution, it will let me, in Procreate, it will let me have 204 layers. That's great. Way more than I'm going to need. But if it's 3000 inches, that's ridiculous. It's Procreate says I can't handle that size. I'm going to say 5 inches by 5 inches. That's really pretty small, right? 5 inches would be like miniature artwork, but it's going to print nicely, and we have 831 layers to work with. Oh. I don't need that many, but anyway, you will notice that the bigger this physical size and resolution are, you will have fewer layers that you're able to work in. All right, I have a 5 inch by 5 inch canvas ready to create my masterpiece. We're gonna spend hours now creating this portrait, or maybe we won't. There it is. Let's talk about what we can do once we've already started a piece where maybe we're way in. Maybe I've spent days on this portrait. And all of a sudden, instead of a 5 by 5 canvas, I decide I'd really like to be 5 by 7. I have a really nice 5 by 7 frame and I want it to fit in that. Well, I can go to the wrench, canvas, crop, and resize. I can actually go in and change this to be more vertical, like this. And it is telling me, it's not very helpful, it's telling me in terms of pixels what my measurements are. Maybe I want to know, I want this to be 5 inches by 7 inches. This is going to change my canvas. And to get this out of my way, I'm going to click on settings again. See how I have a canvas now that is that 5 by 7 orientation. And I can move it so that my artwork is more centered in it. And I can click done. And now back to the wrench, canvas information, just to double check. What are the dimensions? They're 5 by 7. It's at 300 dpi. Perfect. I haven't changed the size of my artwork. Whatever I created for my artwork is exactly how I created it. What if I want to scale that artwork up? First of all, I wouldn't and you shouldn't, but the world is an imperfect place.
The world's an imperfect place.
Sometimes you have to make a little adjustment. If you have to do that, again, back to cropping and resizing. Let's go into settings. This time, I want the happy face, the little portrait, to also enlarge with the canvas. So I'm going to say resample the canvas. That means we're not just affecting the canvas, we're affecting all of the artwork, even if it's, I know this is just one layer, but if you had a series of layers, all of the artwork is also going to change with these settings. So if I say, let's make this 8 by, yeah, actually I wouldn't change the ratio because that would squash the artwork. Let's just change it to be 8.5, 11.9. You can always crop it back, and I'll hit done. And now the canvas is bigger and the artwork is also bigger. So to double check it, go to the wrench, go to the canvas information, dimensions. I'm still at 300 DPI. This is 8.5 by 11.9. And if you want to adjust that, I would go back, crop and resize the settings. Don't resample. I don't want to scale my artwork, but I do want this to be 11 inches. And I don't want that little chain that links the aspect ratio. I don't want the 8.5 to change, just the 11. So I click done. You can see what's going to happen here. It's going to shorten my canvas. So now it will be 8.5 by 11, letter sized. Now I click done, and that's perfect. I still have the art. It didn't get squashed or stretched or anything like that. It got scaled up a little bit larger, and you can see it's kind of blurry. It's not terrible because we didn't go from 3 inches to 30 inches. That would be a catastrophe. So you can actually kind of get away with it in certain circumstances. So if you do start large, you can always crop it down, make it square for Instagram or something like that. And this is just how you would do it in the wrench, in the canvas. You've got your crop and resize. And again, settings, you just want to sometimes resample the canvas. That means change the art with it or not. I really hope that this has helped to give you a good, solid foundation for creating your awesome art at a good resolution. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips and art insights. Thanks for watching. Now go create.